Designers discuss.
So in this video, we're going to discuss a product that's not even out yet, Framer X.
Framer X?
Framer X.
Because there was a Framer,
There's
Framer Studio?
Framer Studio, I think before that there was just Framer.
I know stuff.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
So Framer X is actually their new product, and I think it hopefully is going to solve a lot of problems we had with Framer.
Yeah. Well, not we, you and Kaylee.
Yeah. So Kaylee and I think last year actually tried to learn Framer Studio, and we just ran into some problems where we don't have the time in the day to really sit down and learn this code that really is super helpful in Studio, and I think lets you do the things that make it unique and powerful.
Oh, so in the original Framer Studio, you could manipulate the code after you designed something?
So you could lay something out. You could pull like a square, and I'm trying to remember, but you could pull like a square out there and design it, and you had these two panels. You had design, which was a lot like Sketch.
Oh, okay.
And then you had code, which is where you actually animated and created this real clickable prototype.
Yeah.
And so you had to target elements based on the group name, which became the class name, and you had to write some special code. They had some snippets that you could say, I want to animate in, and it would put the animate in for you. And if you were selected, it would even preset the class names. And it was nice, but they were using, if my memory serves me, it was like a variant of JavaScript or CoffeeScript or something that was tweaked for them. And so I couldn't go out to say how do I do this in CoffeeScript? It was I had to rely on Framer's forums, which, no offense to them, it just wasn't usable really. Yeah. And if you have a week to crash course yourself into this and really learn it, and it's what you're going to use, it's a wonderful tool. But we needed to learn it in 4 hours on a Friday, and we just couldn't. First of all, it's in React. So all your components are built in React. And we can get into what that means for developer later, but I just think it's nice that it's bringing it forward to a language that everyone here uses. So if we have questions, we can just go talk to them.
Cool.
They haven't shown anything about the code side of it,
right?
And I'm not seeing anything in here that says design code. So I think they're getting away from that. I think that they're getting more towards something like Studio, where it's click, point, do this animation, and it's just moving between screens for you in a prototyping fashion. And then you're able to use that React code to tweak them, I'm hoping.
So it's maybe simply export the code?
Yeah, I don't know. We can discuss that about what it means for developers. I think that it could have some dramatic changes for how we work if this is really robust as we're all hoping it is. But looking at this sidebar here, it's Sketch, it's Studio, it's everything that we know. I mean, there's some extra things like functions and
it's dark themed, so there you go.
That's nice. Orientation, device, so they're pulling in stuff that we know.
Yeah.
But right here it's responsive, and so that's something that Studio does now. Sketch did, but with a plugin, and I never found that plugin to be super useful, so I just never touched it.
Yeah.
But you can actually, it seems declare this thing's 80% width, and then no matter how wide it gets, it's just 80% width, which is how we'd write it in code anyways. And so I think that's exciting. They just have these interactions that it's just how we would do it in Sketch, how we do it in Invision.
Well, this part looks like Studio, the interaction piece.
So it's not just, I'm going to animate this pixeled artboard and this pixel artboard and just slide one on top of the other. Right here, they're not showing a ton of robust stuff, but I'm really hoping that it is as robust as Studio, where there's an element and I can actually change the square that's in the artboard. Yeah, interactive components for everything. They allow you to put video in your design, so that if you pull it up on a phone, you're actually seeing a video playing. It's not image play button Mapbox. They're pulling in Mapbox in here, so you can actually push and pull a map component, which I think is crazy cool. I know.
I forgot about that the other day.
It's so cool.
They have this this top bar date. I'm not an iPhone user. What is that called, guys?
Status bar.
Status bar, where you can actually slide the battery down to 4%.
And so do you think that's a built-in sort of component thing where when it hits 10% it turns red?
Yeah.
Really?
Which makes me even more excited because I can build something that I can have someone move a slider in the design and how to do stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And
because it's one of those things where it's not really worth it to go out of your way and something like Sketch to show that detail
Right.
of a state. But if it's baked in like that, that would be super useful.
Yeah, and actually right here, so like this function thing, they actually shown it opened up, and you can say when the value of this slider is at 50.
Oh, there's the code.
Change, yep.
Oh my gosh.
You're changing the actual, I don't even know what it's called in React, but essentially like a breakpoint for that slider where you can say at 80%, let's make it green. And so like, yeah.
So it really works.
Yeah. So I think that, and of course, just like every other tool nowadays, they have a store, which as much as I don't like things that become like fragmented, I do think that because these are different platforms, like these are different products, they're not all like working together, they're competing. So like, I think it's nice that they put these stores out, especially if they launch it with like YouTube player. Like that is an actual sketch file that I have bookmarked because I always need to pull in a YouTube video for some reason and pull on that symbol. And so having that right there is great.
And likely, I mean, this looks like it's really easy for the greatest and the most used things to bubble up toward the top. So that'll be super easy to find among a bunch of other like crappy little things people push out there.
Yeah. So one of the things that I liked about Framer before is that when I got it to work, you actually could pull it up on your phone and it felt like
So like a prototype?
It felt like an app. It didn't feel like a prototype. It didn't feel like I had to hit a hotspot and like, kind of clunk through this experience, but it felt like a real developed app. What I'm excited about is that if we have even more control over this from the beginning, how far does that take it? So like they even say like use actual React in your projects to create interactive components from scratch. Does that mean that developers get to actually end up walking away from our handoff with real components?
Yeah.
And if so, like, what is like that's big.
There are instances where like things that are built don't look like what you created for whatever reasons. Yeah. So to be able to like be confident in what you've designed will actually be what it looks like is really cool.
From looking at this, I'd like to ask us how do you think we would integrate this into our workflow? Do you think we get rid of Sketch? Do you think we'd use a combination of any other tools with this?
I think it depends on what it ends up looking like when we get it, because if it is really as good as Sketch, I mean, it looks like it has the same exact functionality, but if it is as good as Sketch, it's super expensive. Have you looked at the pricing?
I have not.
I looked it up. It's $750 a month for 10 users.
Yes, I did see that.
Which this would have to take the place of Sketch, like it'd have to take the place of everything, I feel like. And so it'd have to do everything amazingly.
Yeah, that's definitely the hurdle I think for us internally is like, how much would we use this? And at that point, is it worth paying for it? If this can become something that some clients really want, and want to go that extra step, then this is something that we can provide them.
I would feel like workflow wise, even from client to client, it would be, I think, difficult for me to switch between like two different products. So like I would want to excel at one instead of being familiar with two. Yeah. So you could even use the Framer X to deliver like just simply things uploaded to Invision or whatever tools you would use to show that basic prototype versus a full-fledged product kind of experience based off designs. So I would think in the picture perfect world where we didn't, I guess, worry about the money that it costs to do these things, like Framer X would just take over everything. Yeah. I mean, that would be how I would envision it.
I kind of wonder how much the code that you produce in this is valuable to our developers. Yeah. Like as a designer, I think it's really amazing to be able to see something being built when you're designing and also to like interact with it as if it were a real product, because it is a real product when you're doing it in something like this. Yeah. But I don't know if the developers if it would help that much, or if it would just be kind of like, oh, now I have to like work around the way that Framer made it this way. Yeah. So I don't know.
That's actually an interesting point, because if it does work the way we would hope that it would work, I wonder if the cost savings of that would offset the price.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Like if we're saving our developers X time and that's X dollars an hour, does that make sense then for us to invest in this tool, because we can just go faster?
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a shot here in the demo that says you can do intricate illustrations, and like I alluded to in Sketch, you cannot do that. it's very difficult. And so I'm curious about that aspect of it because I like, I mean, I would call myself more of a visual designer, just like more than like strictly product. I like pretty things over like more structured things.
Yeah.
And so to do like illustrations or icons or something like that would be cool. I don't know if this tool is ever meant to replace aspects of Illustrator, but I'm curious how well you can do that because it is difficult to do in Sketch.
And I'm curious about like intricate illustrations because they're just showing
super
basic
illustrations here. So I'm really curious what they consider a complex.
Well, they say intricate. That's not intricate. I mean,
I don't really see a pen tool either.
I think I see path.
Path?
I think that's pretty much it. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think we're going to find out more about Framer when it comes out, and I know that we're excited to find out more.
Definitely. Let us know what you think and what you're excited for in the comments below.
And subscribe to see more videos with us.